The rain hammered against Maya's helmet visor, so hard she could barely see the address glowing on her phone mount. But she had 3 more deliveries after this one, and rent was due in 4 days. The marble lobby of the Celestial Tower made her dripping rain gear feel like a personal insult to luxury itself. Water pooled beneath her boots as she approached the concierge desk, where a man in a suit that probably cost more than her motorcycle eyed her with thinly veiled distaste. "Delivery for Penthouse," Maya said, holding up the insulated bag. "Adrian Castellano." The concierge's expression shifted slightly, something between surprise and concern. "Mr. Castellano ordered food. Unless someone's pranking me, yeah." Maya was too tired and wet to care about his tone. "Can I go up or do I need to wait for a golden ticket?" He made a phone call, spoke in hushed tones, then gestured toward a private elevator she hadn't even noticed. "Top floor. The code is 8247. The elevator was nicer than her entire apartment. Maya caught her reflection in the polished bronze panels and winced. Her dark hair was plastered to her face, her mascara had created interesting rivers down her cheeks, and her delivery company jacket had seen better years. She looked like a drowned cat who'd lost a fight with a garbage disposal. The penthouse hallway had exactly 1 door. Before Maya could knock, it swung open to reveal a man who made her forget how to breathe properly for a moment. He was tall, with dark hair that looked artfully messy in that way that probably took effort or genetics she'd never possess. His gray eyes were striking even in the hallway's soft lighting, and he wore a simple black sweater and jeans that somehow looked elegant. But what caught her attention most was how exhausted he appeared, with shadows under those remarkable eyes and tension in his jaw. "You actually came," he said, and his voice had a rough quality that suggested he hadn't used it much recently. "I wasn't sure anyone would deliver in this weather. I'm incredibly motivated by money and the fear of eviction," Maya said, then immediately regretted her honesty. "I mean, customer service is my passion." The corner of his mouth twitched, almost a smile. "How much do I owe you?" $42.50. "The app should have charged your card, but tips are always appreciated by your friendly neighborhood drowned rat." This time he definitely smiled, and it transformed his entire face. "You look cold and wet, observant and handsome. You're a real catch." The words escaped before her brain could stop them. Exhaustion had apparently murdered her filter. But Adrian Castellano just laughed, a real laugh that sounded surprised, like he'd forgotten how. "Come inside, please. I can't let you go back out in that storm without at least warming up. I have more deliveries. I'll tip you enough to cover them." He stepped back, gesturing into the penthouse. "Please. I'm not a serial killer, I promise. You can keep your phone out and ready to call for help if it makes you feel safer." Maya knew this was probably stupid. Her mother would kill her if the serial killer didn't. But there was something in his eyes, a loneliness that felt familiar, that made her step inside. The penthouse was stunning in an understated way. Floor-to-ceiling windows showcased the city lights through the rain, and the furniture looked comfortable rather than just expensive. But Maya noticed the lack of personal touches, no photos or knickknacks that suggested someone actually lived here rather than just existed. "I'll get you a towel," Adrian said, taking the food bag from her. "The bathroom is just through there if you want to dry off properly." The bathroom was bigger than her bedroom and had heated floors. Maya stared at her reflection in the massive mirror, at her ruined makeup and soaked clothes, and wondered what alternate universe she'd stumbled into. She dried her face and hair as best she could, but there wasn't much hope for the rest of her. When she emerged, Adrian had set the food on a dining table that could seat 12, but held only 2 place settings. He'd opened the containers, Italian food from Marco's downtown, expensive stuff she'd never actually tasted despite delivering it weekly. "I can't stay for dinner," Maya said. "I really do have other deliveries." Adrian pulled out his phone. "What's your Venmo?" "I'll pay you for the rest of your shift." "That's insane. You don't even know how much I'd make. Ballpark it. Maybe another 100 on a good night, but this weather probably 70. She was lowballing it, but even that felt like too much to accept. He typed on his phone. Hers buzzed. Maya looked down and nearly dropped it. He'd sent $500. "That's way too much," she said immediately. "I can't accept this. You drove through a dangerous storm to bring food to a stranger. That's worth something." His voice was quiet, serious. "And honestly, I could really use the company. It's been a long time since I had dinner with someone who wasn't trying to pitch me an investment opportunity or marry their daughter to me." "I might try to marry you myself for this kind of money," Maya joked, then froze. That was a joke. "I'm not a gold digger or a crazy person. Usually." "Noted." Adrian pulled out a chair. "Please, the food will get cold and I ordered enough for an army anyway." Maya's stomach growled audibly, betraying her. She hadn't eaten since a granola bar at 10 that morning. "Okay, but if this turns into a weird situation, I know 3 kinds of martial arts." "You really?" "No, but I'm scrappy and I bite." He laughed again, and Maya decided she liked that sound. She sat down and he served her pasta in a cream sauce that smelled like heaven. The first bite nearly made her moan. "This is incredible," she said. "I deliver this food all the time but never actually tried it." "You've never ordered from Marco's?" Adrian seemed genuinely surprised. "On my salary, I'd have to sell a kidney, maybe both." She twirled more pasta onto her fork. "I'm more of a ramen and hope kind of girl." "What do you do besides deliveries?" "This is it right now. I graduated 8 months ago with a degree in graphic design, but turns out everyone wants 5 years of experience for entry-level jobs. So I deliver food and try not to think about my student loans." Maya paused. "Sorry, you probably don't want to hear someone complain." "I asked," Adrian said simply. He hadn't touched much of his own food, she noticed. "What kind of graphic design? Branding, mostly." "Logo design, visual identity systems. I love the idea of helping people figure out how to present themselves to the world, you know. Like, what story are they trying to tell and how can visuals make that clearer and more compelling?" She stopped, embarrassed. "I get too excited about it." "Don't apologize. It's nice to hear someone talk about their work with actual passion." "You don't like your job," something shuddered in his expression. "I'm good at it. That's not the same thing." Maya wanted to ask more, but his tone suggested she shouldn't push. Instead, she ate more of the incredible pasta and watched the rain stream down the windows. "Can I ask why you ordered delivery tonight?" she said eventually. "You seem like the kind of guy who has a private chef or something." "I gave my staff the weekend off. They have families to go home to." Adrian finally took a bite of his food, "and I didn't feel like going out." "Do you not have family?" "My father died 3 years ago. My mother lives in Italy with her new husband. We're not close." He said it matter-of-factly, but Maya heard the pain underneath. "I'm sorry," she said quietly. "That sounds lonely." "It is." He met her eyes, and the honesty there made her chest ache, which is a stupid thing for a grown man to admit to his delivery driver. "I'm an excellent delivery driver, though, very trustworthy, like a priest but with better hair." That earned her another smile. They talked through the rest of dinner. Easy conversation that felt surreal given the circumstances. Adrian asked about her family, and Maya found herself telling him about her mother who worked 2 nursing jobs, her younger sister in community college, how they all crammed into a 2-bedroom apartment but made it work. "You're close with them," Adrian observed. "Yeah." They drive me crazy, but they're my people. Maya pushed her empty plate back. This was amazing. Seriously. But I should probably go before I turn into a pumpkin or you realize you invited a rambling weirdo into your home. I don't think you're weird. Refreshing, maybe. Adrian stood when she did. Can I ask you something? Sure. Would you want to have dinner again, not as a delivery, as an actual dinner? Maya's heart did something complicated. Are you asking me on a date? Yes, if that's okay. If not, we can forget I said anything. She should say no. This man lived in a penthouse and gave away $500 like it was nothing. They existed in completely different worlds. But when she looked at him, she saw someone lonely and tired and maybe a little bit hopeful, and she recognized that feeling. Okay, Maya heard herself say. Yes. The smile he gave her was worth any potential awkwardness. She gave him her number, he walked her to the door, and Maya floated back down the elevator trying to process what had just happened. The concierge gave her a strange look as she left, but she didn't care. Her phone buzzed before she even reached her motorcycle. Adrian, thank you for staying. Get home safely. Maya, thanks for the best meal of my life and funding my entire evening. You're officially my favorite customer. Adrian, I'd rather be more than that. She stared at the text, rain dripping off her helmet, grinning like an idiot. 3 days later, Maya stood outside an upscale restaurant in the only dress she owned that wasn't actively falling apart, second-guessing every decision that had led to this moment. Through the window, she could see Adrian already seated, looking unfairly good in a dark suit. He saw her and smiled, and her nerves settled slightly. You look beautiful, he said when she reached the table, standing to pull out her chair. You look like you're about to negotiate a corporate merger. Maya sat down, hyper-aware of every other diner in their expensive clothes and jewelry. I'm underdressed, aren't I? You're perfect. Adrian sat across from her. I'm probably overdressed, occupational hazard. What do you do exactly? I realized I never asked. He hesitated, and Maya saw him weighing how to answer. I run a company, real estate development, mostly commercial properties, like an investor, something like that. He changed the subject smoothly. Have you been here before? Adrian, I hadn't been to any restaurant nicer than Olive Garden before 3 days ago. Maya picked up the menu and tried not to visibly react to the prices. You're going to have to translate some of this for me, he grinned. The duck is incredible. So is the halibut. Dinner was easier than Maya expected. Adrian had a dry sense of humor that matched hers, and he asked questions like he genuinely cared about the answers. She told him about the logo she was designing for her sister's friend's new bakery, how she was doing it for free just to build her portfolio. He listened intently, asked smart questions about color theory and brand psychology. You really love this, he said. I do. I just wish I could actually make a living at it. Maya sipped her wine, which probably cost more than her phone bill. What about you? Do you love real estate? I love building things, seeing empty spaces transform into something useful and beautiful. Adrian's expression grew thoughtful, but the business side, dealing with investors and city councils and people who only care about profit margins, that's exhausting. Why do you do it then? Family business. My father built the company from nothing, and when he died, it fell to me. I couldn't let his legacy fail. That's a lot of pressure, Maya said softly. It is. He met her eyes. But lately I've been thinking about what I actually want, not what I'm supposed to want. That's new for me. The weight of his gaze made her pulse quicken. What do you want? I'm still figuring that out, but I know I wanted to see you again. Heat crept up Maya's neck. She wasn't used to this, to someone looking at her like she mattered, like she was interesting rather than just convenient. They shared dessert, some elaborate chocolate thing that tasted like heaven, and talked until the restaurant staff started giving them pointed looks. Adrian paid the check before she could even pretend to offer, and they walked out into the cool night air. "Can I drive you home?" he asked. "I took the bus, and I'm not sure I'm ready for you to see where I live compared to your penthouse palace." "Maya." He caught her hand gently. "I don't care where you live. I just want to make sure you get home safely." His driver brought the car around, a sleek black sedan that made Maya feel like she was in a movie. She gave the address reluctantly, and Adrian didn't react when they pulled up to her rundown apartment building with its flickering security light and cracked sidewalk. "Thank you for tonight," Maya said. "I had a really good time." "Me too." Adrian squeezed her hand. "Can I see you again?" "You're pretty persistent for a millionaire." He froze slightly. "How did you know? The penthouse, the private elevator, the car service, the way the restaurant staff treated you like royalty." Maya smiled. "I'm poor, not oblivious. But if you're worried I'm after your money, I should tell you I already Googled you." "You did?" Adrian Castellano, CEO of Castellano Development Group, estimated net worth somewhere in the 9 figures depending on which website you believe. She watched his face carefully. "You're kind of famous in business circles, apparently. My mom's boyfriend works in construction, and when I mentioned your name, he about fell over." Adrian looked uncomfortable. "Does that change things? Should it?" "You're still the same guy who laughed at my jokes and actually listened when I talked about kerning and color palettes." Maya paused. "Although it does explain why you could afford to tip me $500. I'm still the same person," he said quietly. "The money just complicates things." "Everything worthwhile is complicated." Maya leaned over and kissed his cheek, quick and soft. "Text me. We'll figure it out." She was out of the car before he could respond, but she felt his eyes on her all the way to her building's entrance. Her phone buzzed as she climbed the stairs to the 3rd floor. "Adrian, you kissed me." "Maya, I did." "Is that okay?" "Adrian, more than okay. I wanted to kiss you properly but didn't want to presume." "Maya." "Next time." "Adrian, promise." "Maya, promise." Over the next 3 weeks, Maya learned what it felt like to fall for someone. Adrian texted her good morning every day, asked about her deliveries and design projects, sent her articles about branding and typography he thought she'd find interesting. They had dinner twice more, went to a museum on her day off, walked through the city at night talking about everything and nothing. He kissed her after their 4th date, soft and careful against her apartment building's brick wall, and Maya felt it all the way to her toes. "I really like you," Adrian said against her lips. "I really like you too." Maya pulled back to look at him. "This is crazy, right? We're from completely different worlds. I don't care about that. You say that now, but eventually you're going to realize I don't fit into your life. I can't afford the restaurants you go to. I don't know how to act at fancy events. I don't even own proper work clothes for your kind of work." Adrian framed her face with his hands. "You fit into my life better than anyone ever has. You make me laugh. You call me out when I'm being too serious. You remind me there's more to life than board meetings and profit margins." His thumbs traced her cheekbones. "I haven't been this happy in years." "I make you happy." Maya's voice came out smaller than intended. "So happy." He kissed her again, deeper this time, and she stopped worrying about their different worlds. But reality had a way of intruding. Maya was at Adrian's penthouse the following week, sprawled on his ridiculously comfortable couch working on her laptop while he reviewed contracts, when his phone rang. She heard his side of the conversation, watched his expression go tight and professional. "Tomorrow night. Mother, I have plans." A pause. "I know it's important. Can we reschedule?" Another pause, longer. "Fine. Yes, I'll be there." He hung up and rubbed his face. "I'm sorry. I have to cancel our plans tomorrow." "Everything okay?" Charity gala. My mother's in town and expects me to attend. It's good for the company. He looked miserable. I was supposed to take you to that concert. It's fine. We can go another time. Come with me. The words burst out of him. To the gala, be my date. Maya laughed, then realized he was serious. Adrian, no, that's your world, not mine. I'd be completely out of place. You wouldn't. You'd be with me. I don't have anything to wear to a charity gala. I don't even know what a charity gala really is beyond what I've seen in movies. I'll take care of the dress, please. I don't want to go without you, and I'm tired of showing up to these things alone. His eyes were pleading. If it's awful, we'll leave early, I promise. Maya knew she should refuse. This was too much, too fast, too far outside her comfort zone, but Adrian looked at her with such hope that she found herself nodding. Okay, but if I embarrass you, don't say I didn't warn you. Impossible. He pulled her close. You could never embarrass me. The dress arrived the next afternoon, delivered to her apartment in a garment bag nicer than most of her furniture. Maya opened it with her mother and sister watching over her shoulder. Oh my God, her sister breathed. The dress was midnight blue, elegant and simple with a fitted bodice and flowing skirt. The fabric felt like water under Maya's fingers. There were shoes too, delicate heels that somehow fit perfectly, and a small evening bag. Your boyfriend is rich, her mother said. Not just has money rich, this is serious money, Maya. I know, Mom. Is he good to you? Her mother's voice turned serious. Money doesn't mean anything if he doesn't treat you right. He's wonderful. He's kind and funny, and he actually listens when I talk. He makes me feel seen. Maya touched the dress carefully, but I'm terrified I'm going to mess this up. Baby, if he wanted someone who already fit into his world, he wouldn't have chosen you. Her mother hugged her. He wants you exactly as you are, so go be yourself, just in a really expensive dress. The car picked Maya up at 6. She'd spent 2 hours on her hair and makeup with her sister's help, and she barely recognized herself in the mirror. The dress transformed her, made her look elegant and sophisticated, like someone who belonged at fancy events. Adrian's expression when she stepped out of the car made every anxious moment worth it. You're stunning, he said, voice rough. He looked incredible himself in a tuxedo that was probably custom-made. Absolutely stunning. You clean up pretty well yourself. Maya accepted his offered arm, trying not to shake. I'm really nervous, so am I, but we'll be nervous together. He squeezed her hand. Thank you for coming. The gala was at a museum, all soaring ceilings and marble floors and ice sculptures. Women in designer gowns air-kissed while men in tuxedos discussed stock portfolios and golf handicaps. Maya felt every eye turn toward them as they entered. Adrian Castellano, you actually brought a date, a woman in red silk said, swooping over. We thought you'd sworn off women entirely. Caroline, this is Maya Torres. Maya Caroline Whitney, she runs the foundation hosting tonight. Adrian's hand settled on Maya's lower back, warm and reassuring. Lovely to meet you, Caroline said, but her eyes assessed Maya like an accountant reviewing questionable expenses. How do you two know each other? Maya delivered food to my penthouse, and I convinced her to stay for dinner, Adrian said smoothly. Best decision I've made in years. Caroline's eyebrows rose slightly. Maya could practically see her filing that information away for later gossip. How charming. Well, do enjoy the evening. The silent auction closes at 9. She glided away, and Maya exhaled. She hated me immediately. She's suspicious of anyone who might make me happy. She's been trying to set me up with her niece for 2 years. Adrian grabbed 2 champagne flutes from a passing waiter. You did great. The evening proceeded in a blur of introductions Maya immediately forgot, small talk about things she knew nothing about, and increasingly creative ways Adrian found to touch her. his hand on her back, his fingers lacing with hers, his body angled toward her like a shield against the rest of the room. "You're doing amazing," he murmured during a lull. "I know this isn't fun. It's not terrible. Everyone's just very polished." Maya watched a woman laugh with perfect, practiced grace. "I feel like I'm in a nature documentary about rich people." Adrian laughed loud enough that nearby conversations paused. "You're perfect, don't change." But then a severe woman in black approached and Adrian went tense beside her. "Mother," he said, "you made it. Obviously." The woman's gaze swept over Maya with the warmth of a tax audit. "And this is your guest, Maya Torres. This is my mother, Francesca Castellano. Mother, Maya is my girlfriend." Maya's brain short-circuited slightly at the word girlfriend, but she managed to extend her hand. "It's nice to meet you, Mrs. Castellano." Francesca's handshake was brief and limp. "Torres, what does your family do?" "My mother is a nurse. My father isn't in the picture. How unfortunate." Francesca turned to Adrian. "I need to speak with you privately." "Anything you need to say, you can say in front of Maya." "Very well." Francesca's expression could have frozen champagne. "I heard from Richard Montgomery that you turned down the Riverside project. That project was worth $200 million. It would have displaced 300 low-income families. I'm not doing that." "Your father would have taken that deal." "My father isn't here." Adrian's voice stayed level, but Maya felt the anger underneath. "I'm running the company now and I make the decisions. We don't need that project. We need you focused, not distracted." Francesca's gaze flicked to Maya. "I'm sure your friend is lovely, but this isn't the time for you to be playing house with someone completely inappropriate." Maya's face burned. She started to step back, but Adrian's arm came around her waist, holding her close. "Don't speak about Maya that way, ever." His voice was ice. "She's the best thing in my life right now, and if you can't be respectful, this conversation is over." "Adrian, be reasonable." "I am being reasonable. You're being cruel." He looked at Maya, his expression softening. "Let's get some air." He guided her toward the terrace, leaving his mother staring after them. Outside, the night air was cool and quiet, city lights spreading below them. "I'm so sorry," Adrian said immediately. "She had no right to speak to you that way." "She's not wrong, though. I am inappropriate for your world." Maya's eyes stung. "I'm a delivery driver with student loans and a crappy apartment. You're a CEO worth millions who goes to galas and makes $100 million deals. This was stupid to think it could work." "Don't say that." Adrian caught her hands. "My mother is bitter and controlling, and she's been trying to run my life since my father died. But she doesn't get a say in this, in us." "There's an us." "I hope so, because I'm falling in love with you, Maya." His voice cracked slightly. "I know it's fast and probably crazy, but you make me want things I thought I'd given up on. You make me laugh. You challenge me. You remind me who I am underneath all the expectations and responsibilities. I don't want to lose that. I don't want to lose you." Maya's breath caught. "You love me." "I'm falling in love with you. Present progressive, ongoing action." A small smile. "Is that okay?" Instead of answering, Maya kissed him. Poured everything she felt into it. All her fear and hope and the terrifying realization that she was falling too, had been falling since he'd invited her into his penthouse and looked at her like she mattered. When they broke apart, Adrian pressed his forehead to hers. "Let's go home. My place." "I don't want to be here anymore." "What about the gala?" "I've made my appearance. I've donated enough money. They'll survive without me." He kissed her again, soft. "I'd rather be with you." They left without saying goodbye to anyone. In the car, Adrian held her hand, and Maya tried to process everything that had happened. "Your mother really hates me," she said eventually. "My mother hates anyone who isn't from her very specific social circle." She wanted me to marry Jessica Whitmore, whose family owns half of Connecticut, or Charlotte Ashford, whose father sits on 3 Fortune 500 boards. Adrian's thumb traced circles on her palm. But I don't want someone from that world, I want someone real. I'm very real. Aggressively real. Probably too real. Perfect amount of real. He pulled her closer. Stay with me tonight, just to sleep. I just want to hold you. Maya knew she should be cautious, should protect her heart better. But she was tired of being careful, tired of playing it safe. Okay, she whispered. At the Penthouse, they changed out of their formal clothes. Adrian lent her a soft t-shirt that smelled like him, and they curled up on his bed with the city lights through the windows. He held her like she was precious, his face buried in her hair. "Thank you for tonight," he said quietly. "I know it wasn't fun. Parts of it were nice. Dancing with you was nice." They'd had one dance, swaying together while everyone watched. Maya had focused on his eyes and tried to forget the audience. "I liked showing everyone I was there with you, being proud of being with you. Even though I'm completely inappropriate." She meant it as a joke, but it came out uncertain. Adrian pulled back to look at her. "You are brilliant and talented and kind. You work hard, you love your family, you make me want to be better. There is nothing inappropriate about you. Nothing." He kissed her forehead. "My mother is wrong, she's been wrong about a lot of things." Maya settled against his chest, listening to his heartbeat. "I'm scared," she admitted. "I've never felt like this before. It's terrifying. I'm scared too, but I think the best things are usually scary." They fell asleep tangled together, and Maya dreamed of falling and flying all at once. The next few weeks settled into a pattern. Maya kept doing her delivery job because she needed the income and the independence, but she spent most of her free time with Adrian. He came to her apartment for the first time and charmed her mother completely by asking intelligent questions about her nursing work and complimenting the family photos on the walls. Her sister cornered Maya in the kitchen and whispered that if she messed this up, she was an idiot. "I'm very aware," Maya whispered back. Adrian never acted like their different financial situations mattered. When Maya insisted on paying for pizza one night, he let her without argument. When she couldn't afford concert tickets he wanted to go to, he suggested free alternatives, outdoor movies and museum days with suggested donations. He made her feel like an equal even when they both knew she wasn't, financially speaking. But the outside world wasn't as kind. Maya started noticing the looks when they went out together, the whispers and speculation. Someone took their photo at a coffee shop, and suddenly, Maya was mystery woman in some business blog's gossip section. The comments ranged from curious to cruel, gold digger. She's obviously using him. What does he see in her? She's not even that pretty. Maya tried not to read them, but they burrowed under her skin anyway. "You're quiet," Adrian said one evening. They were at his place and he was cooking dinner while she supposedly worked on a design project. "What's wrong?" "People are talking about us, about me." He set down the knife he'd been using. "You've been reading comments online. I know I shouldn't, but it's hard not to when people are saying I'm only with you for money." Adrian came around the counter, pulling her into his arms. "Anyone who knows you knows that's not true. You literally refused my help when your laptop died last week. Because I can't just accept expensive gifts from you whenever something breaks. But you can accept them because someone who loves you wants to help." He tipped her chin up. "I do love you, Maya, completely, not falling anymore, fully fallen," her heart stuttered. "You love me. Is that okay?" He looked nervous, vulnerable in a way she rarely saw. "I know we haven't been together that long, but I'm sure. I've never been more sure of anything. I love you too." The words came easily, naturally, because they were true. "I think I've loved you since you invited me to stay for dinner and looked at me like I was interesting rather than just the help. You were never just anything." He kissed her deeply. You're everything." They made love for the first time that night, slow and tender and overwhelming. Afterward, wrapped in his sheets with his arms around her, Maya felt like maybe this could actually work. Maybe love was enough to bridge their different worlds, but 3 days later, reality came crashing back. Maya was making a delivery downtown when she recognized the building address. Castellano Development Group headquarters, a gleaming tower of glass and steel. She'd never been inside, had never seen Adrian in his actual work environment. The reception area was all modern art and uncomfortable-looking furniture. Maya gave the receptionist the name on the order, some executive assistant on the 14th floor, and waited for clearance. Maya. She turned to find a tall, blonde woman staring at her, recognition and something else in her expression. "I'm sorry, do I know you?" Maya asked. "Jessica Whitmore. I saw your photo online. You're dating Adrian." The woman's smile didn't reach her eyes. "I didn't realize you worked as a delivery person." "I do a lot of things." Maya kept her voice pleasant. "Nice to meet you. Adrian and I have known each other since childhood. Our families have been close for generations." Jessica stepped closer, her perfume expensive and overwhelming. "I'm sure he's told you about me." He had mentioned her once, the woman his mother wanted him to marry. "He mentioned you, yes. Then you know what kind of future we could have together, what kind of sense we make." Jessica's expression turned almost pitying. "You seem nice, and I'm sure this has been fun for Adrian. A little escape from his real life. But eventually he'll remember who he is, what he's meant for. People like us end up with people like us. It's just how the world works." Maya's delivery bag suddenly felt very heavy. "I think Adrian makes his own choices about his life." "Does he? Or is he so desperate for something different, something real, that he's convinced himself this can last?" Jessica's voice softened, became almost kind. "I'm not trying to be cruel, but you have to see how this ends. He's a CEO worth hundreds of millions of dollars. You deliver food. Eventually the novelty will wear off, and you'll be left with nothing but a broken heart and some nice memories." The receptionist called Maya's name. The delivery was cleared for pickup. Maya forced herself to smile at Jessica. "Thanks for your concern, but I think we're fine." She headed to the elevator on shaking legs. She should have brushed off Jessica's words, should have recognized them as jealous manipulation. But they echoed thoughts Maya had herself late at night, fears she tried to suppress. Adrian called her that evening, excited because he'd gotten reservations at some new restaurant. Maya made an excuse, said she was tired. The next day she claimed a headache. By the third day, Adrian showed up at her apartment. "What's going on?" he asked as soon as she opened the door. "You're avoiding me." "I'm not, I've just been busy, Maya." He stepped inside, closing the door behind him. "Talk to me. What happened?" She wanted to lie, to pretend everything was fine, but she'd never been good at hiding her feelings. "I met Jessica Whitmore." Understanding crossed his face. "When?" "A few days ago. I was delivering to your building." Maya wrapped her arms around herself. "She said some things that got in my head." "What things?" "That you're slumming it with me. That eventually you'll remember who you're supposed to be with and go back to your real life." The words came out bitter. "And the thing is, part of me thinks she's right. We don't make sense on paper, Adrian. You know we don't." "I don't care about what makes sense on paper." Adrian's voice rose, frustration bleeding through. "I care about what makes me happy, and that's you. How many times do I have to say that before you believe me? Until I stop feeling like I'm going to wake up and this will all be a dream." Maya's eyes burned. "You're a CEO. You go to galas and make million-dollar deals. I deliver food and live in a crappy apartment with my family. How is this supposed to work long-term?" "We make it work. We figure it out together." He caught her hands. "Unless you don't want to, unless this is too hard and you want out, tell me now." I don't want out. I'm terrified of how much I don't want out. Then stop listening to people like Jessica who are just jealous and bitter. Adrian pulled her close. I don't care about our different backgrounds. I care that you make me laugh, that you challenge me, that you see me as a person instead of just a bank account or a business opportunity. I care that I love you and you love me. Isn't that enough? In fairy tales, maybe. This isn't a fairy tale. It's real life, which means it's messy and complicated, and we're going to have to work at it. He tilted her face up. But I want to work at it. I want to figure out how to blend our worlds. I want you to meet my business partners, and I want to have dinner with your family. I want to build something together. Don't you want that too? Maya did. God, she wanted it so much it ached. Yes. Then trust me, trust us. He kissed her softly. And next time someone like Jessica tries to get in your head, tell me immediately so I can remind you that you're the only woman I want. Okay, Maya whispered. I'm sorry I pulled away. Just don't do it again. I was going crazy. They spent the rest of the evening on her couch, wrapped around each other, and Maya let herself believe again. 2 months later, things were better. Adrian had made good on his promise to blend their worlds. He'd had dinner with Maya's family multiple times, charming her mother and treating her sister like his own. Maya had attended 2 more work events with him, and while they still weren't her favorite, they were getting easier. But then Adrian asked her to move in with him. It makes sense, he said over breakfast at his place, which she'd been staying at more and more often. You're here most nights anyway, and your apartment lease is up next month. Adrian, I can't just move into your penthouse. Why not? Because it's your space. Because I can't afford to split rent on a place like this, because it's too much too fast. Maya set down her coffee. Because I need to maintain some independence. What if you didn't pay rent? What if you just lived here because we're together and we want to be together? Then I'd feel like I was using you. Adrian looked frustrated. You're not using me. Living together is a normal relationship progression. People do it all the time. Normal people who are on equal financial footing. We're not. So we'll figure something out. You can pay what you'd pay for your apartment, put it toward utilities or groceries, or save it. I don't care about the money, Maya. I just want to wake up with you every day. The sincerity in his voice made her chest ache. Can I think about it? Of course. He kissed her temple. Just know that I really want this. I want you here officially, not just visiting. Maya talked it over with her mother that afternoon. They sat at the cramped kitchen table in the apartment Maya had grown up in, drinking tea. You love him, her mother asked. So much. He love you. He says he does. He shows it. Then what's the problem? I don't want to be dependent on him. What if things go wrong? What if we break up? I'd have nowhere to go, no financial safety net. Maya twisted her mug. I'm scared of losing myself in his world. Her mother reached across the table, covering Maya's hand. Baby, love always requires some leap of faith. But from what I've seen, Adrian respects you. He values your independence. He's not trying to control you or change you. But if I move in, I'm admitting I can't afford to live on my own at the level he lives at. I'm admitting our financial situations are vastly different. They are vastly different. That's just reality. Her mother squeezed her hand. But that doesn't make you less than him. You're choosing to build a life together, and that means compromise from both sides. He's compromising too, opening his space to you, adjusting to having someone around all the time. I just don't want people to think I'm using him. People will think what they want regardless. What matters is what you and Adrian know to be true. Her mother smiled. And I think you know he loves you for real, so stop sabotaging yourself and let yourself be happy. Maya moved in 3 weeks later. Adrian insisted on hiring movers for her few possessions, and watching her belongings arranged in his penthouse felt surreal. Her books on his shelves, her clothes in his closet, her coffee maker on his pristine kitchen counter. "It looks good," Adrian said, wrapping his arms around her from behind. "Like you belong here. It's weird. Good weird, but weird. We'll make it ours." He kissed her neck. "Thank you for taking this leap with me." Living together brought new challenges and joys. Adrian worked long hours, often bringing paperwork home, and Maya had to learn when to give him space and when to pull him away from the endless emails. She kept doing deliveries at first, partially because she needed her own income, partially because she wasn't ready to give up that independence. But her design work was picking up. The bakery logo she'd done had gotten attention, and suddenly she had paying clients. Not a lot, but enough that she started to believe maybe she could make this work as an actual career. "You should quit the delivery job," Adrian said one evening. She'd come home exhausted and sore after a long shift in the rain. "Focus on your design work full-time." "I can't afford to do that yet. The design income is too unpredictable." "What if you didn't have to worry about income for a while? Just built your portfolio and client base without the stress." Maya understood what he was offering. "I'm not going to be your kept woman. That's not what I'm suggesting. I'm suggesting you invest in your future instead of exhausting yourself with a job you're overqualified for." Adrian pulled her onto the couch beside him. "You're talented, Maya, really talented. But you're never going to be able to build your business if you're spending 50 hours a week on deliveries. So you'll just support me. We'll support each other. You make my life better just by being in it." "That's worth something. I need to contribute. I need to feel like I'm pulling my weight." "Then contribute in other ways. Cook when you have time, since you're better at it than I am. Take care of the grocery shopping, the household stuff I always forget. Or don't, and just focus on building something you love." He took her hand. "I have more money than I'll ever need. Let me use some of it to help the woman I love achieve her dreams." It went against every independent instinct Maya had. But she was exhausted, and the idea of focusing fully on design work was tempting. "Okay," she said finally, "but I'm keeping track. When my business takes off, I'm paying you back." "Whatever makes you feel better," Adrian smiled. "I'm proud of you." Maya quit the delivery job the next week. It felt strange and terrifying and liberating all at once. She set up a proper workspace in Adrian's spare room, bought professional design software she'd always wanted but couldn't afford, and threw herself into building her brand. Within 2 months, she had a steady stream of clients. Within 4 months, she was turning down work because she was too busy. Adrian helped where he could, introducing her to small business owners who needed branding, giving feedback on her designs from a business perspective. "You were right," Maya admitted one night. They were on the couch, her laptop balanced on her knees, working on a logo for a coffee shop chain. "Quitting deliveries was the right call. You did all the actual work. I just gave you the space to do it." Adrian looked at her screen. "That's beautiful, by the way. You think so?" "I'm worried the font is too modern for their vintage aesthetic." They discussed typography for 20 minutes, and Maya was reminded again why she loved him. He took her work seriously, treated her professional opinions as valuable, never made her feel like her career was less important than his just because she made less money. 6 months after moving in together, Adrian came home early from work with a strange expression. "We need to talk," he said, and Maya's heart plummeted. "Okay, that's never a good opening. It's not bad, at least I hope it's not bad." He sat beside her on the couch. "I've been thinking a lot about my company, about what I want to do with my life." "Okay." "I'm thinking about stepping back. Not completely, but reducing my role. Hiring a COO to handle day-to-day operations so I can focus on the parts I actually care about, the development and design aspects." Maya processed this. "That's a big change. What brought this on?" You did. Watching you build something you love from scratch reminded me that I used to love what I do. Before it became about profit margins and investor expectations and living up to my father's legacy. Adrian took her hands. I want to remember why I got into this business. And I want more time with you to travel and have actual weekends and not miss dinner because I'm stuck in meetings. Are you sure? Your company is your father's legacy. My father is gone, and I think he'd understand that I need to live my own life, not just maintain his memory. Adrian smiled. You've given me the courage to want something different, to believe I can have something different. I'm glad. Maya kissed him softly. You deserve to be happy, not just successful. I want both, and I want them with you. The changes happened gradually. Adrian hired an exceptional COO who took over much of the operational burden. He started leaving work at reasonable hours, having full weekends free, seeming lighter and happier than Maya had ever seen him. They traveled to Italy for 2 weeks, spent long weekends at a cabin upstate, learned to cook together with varying degrees of success. Maya's business continued growing. She hired an assistant, raised her rates, landed a major client that gave her design work real industry visibility. She still couldn't match Adrian financially and probably never would, but she was contributing, building something of her own, and that mattered. They'd been together a year when Adrian's mother showed up at the Penthouse, unannounced. Maya answered the door in yoga pants and one of Adrian's t-shirts, her hair in a messy bun, and froze when she saw Francesca Castellano in the hallway. Mrs. Castellano, Adrian didn't mention you were visiting. He didn't know. May I come in? Francesca's tone suggested it wasn't really a question. Maya stepped aside, acutely aware of how casual and underdressed she was. Adrian's not home yet. He should be back in about an hour. Actually, I came to see you. This couldn't be good. Maya gestured to the living room and they sat in uncomfortable silence for a moment. I owe you an apology, Francesca said finally. For how I spoke to you at the gala, it was cruel and unfair. Maya hadn't expected this. Oh, thank you. I've been watching my son this past year. He's happier than I've seen him since before his father died. He's taken control of his company in ways I didn't think he would. He's building a life that's his, not just an extension of family expectations. Francesca's expression softened slightly. And from what I understand, much of that change is because of you. Adrian makes his own choices. I just support him. You do more than that. You challenge him. You've given him the courage to want more from life. Francesca paused. I wanted him to marry someone from our world because I thought that would be safer, easier. But watching him with you, I realize I was wrong. You're good for him. You make him better. Maya's throat tightened. I love him very much. I can see that, and I can see he loves you. Francesca stood. I'm still not certain your backgrounds don't matter. Differences in upbringing and financial situation can cause problems in relationships. But if anyone can make this work, it's Adrian. He's more stubborn than his father ever was. I'm pretty stubborn too. I'm beginning to understand that. Francesca moved toward the door, then turned back. Take care of my son, Maya. He's all I have left. I will, I promise. After she left, Maya sat in the quiet penthouse, processing what had just happened. Adrian came home to find her still there, staring at nothing. You okay? He asked, concerned. You look shell-shocked. Your mother came by. She what? Adrian's expression darkened. What did she say? If she was cruel again, I swear, she apologized, and said I was good for you. Maya laughed at his shocked face. I think she might actually approve now. It was weird. My mother approved of you. Adrian sat down heavily. I don't believe it. She still has reservations about our different backgrounds, but she acknowledged that you're happy. Maya curled against him. It was actually kind of nice. Miracles do happen. He kissed her head. Not that her approval matters, but I'm glad she's not actively hostile anymore. That evening, Adrian was quiet through dinner, distracted in a way that made Maya nervous. "Is everything okay?" she finally asked. "You're being weird." "I'm nervous." "About what?" Instead of answering, Adrian got up from the table. For a terrifying moment, Maya thought he was leaving. But then he came around to her side and dropped to one knee, pulling a small velvet box from his pocket. "Oh my God," Maya breathed. "I had a whole speech planned, but now I can't remember any of it." Adrian's hands shook slightly as he opened the box, revealing a simple, stunning ring. "Maya Torres, you crashed into my life on a rainy night and changed everything. You made me laugh when I'd forgotten how. You reminded me there's more to life than work and obligation and living up to impossible expectations. You challenged me to want more, to be more. And you loved me not because of what I have, but because of who I am." Tears streamed down Maya's face. "I don't care that we come from different worlds. We've built our own world together, and it's better than anything I could have imagined." Adrian's voice cracked. "I love you completely. I want to spend the rest of my life with you, building our future together. Will you marry me?" "Yes." The word came out choked. "Yes, of course, yes." He slid the ring onto her shaking finger and stood, pulling her into his arms. Maya kissed him through her tears, tasting salt and joy and overwhelming love. "I love you," she said against his lips. "I love you so much. I love you too." Adrian pulled back to look at the ring on her hand, smiling. "You're going to marry me. I'm going to marry you." Maya laughed, the reality sinking in. "We're getting married." They called her family first. Her mother cried happy tears, and her sister screamed so loud they had to hold the phone away from their ears. Adrian called his mother next, and to Maya's surprise, Francesca sounded genuinely pleased. They got married 4 months later in a ceremony that blended both their worlds. The venue was elegant but not ostentatious. The guest list a mix of Adrian's business associates and Maya's family and friends. Her sister was maid of honor, wearing a dress that made her feel like a princess. Adrian's best man was his childhood friend Marcus, who gave a speech about how he'd never seen Adrian this happy. Maya wore a simple white dress that made her feel beautiful, and when she walked down the aisle and saw Adrian waiting for her with tears in his eyes, she knew without any doubt that they were making the right choice. "You're stunning," he whispered when she reached him. "You're crying." "Happy tears." He took her hands. "Ready to do this, so ready." The ceremony was short and sweet, their vows personal and honest. When the officiant pronounced them married and Adrian kissed her, Maya felt like her heart might burst from happiness. The reception was perfect. They had their first dance to a song Maya had loved since high school, and Adrian held her close and whispered how much he loved her. Her mother danced with Adrian and told him he better take care of her daughter. Francesca actually smiled and told Maya she looked lovely. Even Jessica Whitmore, who'd been invited for business reasons, offered polite congratulations. "I can't believe this is real," Maya said during a quiet moment. They'd snuck away from the party for a minute, standing on a balcony overlooking the gardens. "A year and a half ago, I was just delivering your dinner. Best food order I ever placed." Adrian wrapped his arms around her from behind. "Thank you for taking a chance on me, on us. Thank you for seeing me, for loving me." Maya turned in his arms. "For making me believe we could actually make this work. We're going to make everything work. I promise." They honeymooned in Greece, 2 weeks of sun and sea and being completely focused on each other. Adrian was different away from work, more relaxed and playful. They explored ancient ruins, swam in crystal-clear water, made love on their private villa's terrace under the stars. "I want this always," Maya said one evening. They were watching the sunset, her head on his shoulder. This feeling of peace and happiness. We'll have it. Maybe not always on a Greek island, but we'll have it. Adrian kissed her temple. I'm going to spend the rest of my life making sure you're happy. You already do. Every day. When they returned home, reality set back in, but it was a good reality. Maya's business was thriving. She hired 2 more people and moved into a small office space. Adrian continued reducing his hours at the company, focusing on projects that excited him and spending more time at home. They found their rhythm as a married couple, learning each other's habits and quirks, building a life that felt right. A year into their marriage, Maya woke up feeling nauseated. It continued for 3 days before Adrian insisted she see a doctor. She took the pregnancy test alone in the bathroom of the penthouse, hands shaking. When the positive result appeared, she stared at it for a full minute, trying to process. She was going to have a baby. Their baby. Adrian came home to find her sitting on the bathroom floor, the test clutched in her hand. Maya, what's wrong? He knelt beside her, concerned. Then he saw the test. I'm pregnant. The words felt surreal. We're going to have a baby. Adrian's expression cycled through shock, disbelief, and then pure joy. We're having a baby, are you happy? We never really talked about timing, and I know it's sooner than we probably planned. He kissed her, deep and thorough. I'm so happy, terrified but so happy. They told their families a few weeks later, after the first doctor's appointment confirmed everything was progressing normally. Her mother cried and immediately started planning. Francesca actually hugged Maya and said she was delighted to become a grandmother. Adrian told everyone who would listen, his pride and excitement impossible to contain. The pregnancy was mostly easy. Maya had some morning sickness in the first trimester, and the 3rd trimester made everything uncomfortable, but she felt good overall. Adrian was attentive to the point of being overprotective, constantly worrying about her health and comfort. I'm pregnant, not made of glass, Maya said when he tried to carry her up the stairs for the 3rd time that week. I just want to take care of you. You do, constantly. She softened. But I need to maintain some independence, even now. I know. I'm sorry. I just love you both so much already. Their daughter was born on a sunny afternoon in May after 12 hours of labor that Adrian coached her through with encouraging words and hand-holding that definitely left bruises. When the doctor placed the tiny, perfect baby in Maya's arms, she looked at Adrian and saw tears streaming down his face. She's perfect, he whispered. You're both perfect. They named her Alina Rose, after Adrian's grandmother and Maya's middle name. She had Adrian's dark hair and Maya's eyes, and from the moment she entered the world, she had them both completely wrapped around her tiny fingers. The first few months were exhausting and overwhelming and wonderful. Adrian took paternity leave and was home constantly, learning how to change diapers and soothe a crying baby and function on 3 hours of sleep. Maya was amazed by how naturally fatherhood came to him, how gentle and patient he was even in the hardest moments. You're an amazing dad, she told him one night. He was rocking Alina while Maya pumped, both of them zombie-tired but content. I'm learning. He looked down at their daughter with such love it made Maya's chest ache. She's so small and perfect, I can't believe we made her. Biology is pretty great, he laughed quietly. Thank you for her, for all of this. Thank you for taking a chance on a delivery driver. Best decision I ever made. Alina grew from an infant into a toddler who had her father's stubborn determination and her mother's creative spirit. She loved colors and drawing, covering every surface she could reach with crayon masterpieces. Adrian hung them in his office like they were fine art. Maya's business continued thriving. She worked from home mostly, balancing client calls with parenting, and found she loved the flexibility. Adrian had fully stepped back to a part-time role at his company, focusing on the projects that interested him and spending more time with his family. "I never thought I could have this," he told Maya on their 5th wedding anniversary. They were on the couch after putting Alina to bed, exhausted but happy. "A family, a home that actually feels like home, real happiness. You deserve all of it." Maya kissed him softly. "You're a good man, Adrian Castellano, the best one I know. I'm lucky. So incredibly lucky that you delivered food to my penthouse that night. Best tip I ever earned." He laughed and pulled her closer, and Maya reflected on how far they'd come. From that rainy night when she'd been a drowned delivery driver and he'd been a lonely millionaire to this. A family. A life built on love and trust, and the courage to believe they could bridge their different worlds. When Alina was 3, Maya got pregnant again. This time with a son they named Lucas Adrian, who had Maya's dark eyes and his father's serious expression even as a baby. Alina was thrilled to be a big sister, insisting on helping with everything from diaper changes to bath time. Their penthouse, once so pristine and empty, was now filled with toys and children's laughter and the beautiful chaos of family life. They talked about getting a bigger place, maybe a house with a yard, but neither of them could quite bring themselves to leave the space where their story had really begun. "This is where you invited me to dinner," Maya said one evening. They were cleaning up after the kids were in bed, and she paused in the same spot where she'd stood dripping wet all those years ago. "Right here. You stood in that doorway and asked me to stay. Best invitation I ever extended." Adrian came up behind her, wrapping his arms around her waist. "Changed my entire life. Changed both our lives." They stood there for a moment, remembering. Then Lucas cried out from the nursery and the moment broke. Adrian went to soothe their son while Maya checked on Alina, and they met back in their bedroom 20 minutes later, exhausted but content. "I love our life," Maya said, curling against Adrian's chest. "So do I." He kissed her forehead. "Every chaotic, beautiful moment of it." Maya thought about the girl she'd been, struggling to make rent and uncertain about her future. She thought about Adrian, lonely in his pristine penthouse, successful but unfulfilled. And she thought about how one rainy night and one brave invitation had changed everything. Their love story wasn't a fairy tale. It was better because it was real. Built on trust and compromise, and the daily choice to love each other through the easy moments and the hard ones. They'd bridged their different worlds not by pretending the differences didn't exist, but by building something new together, a life that belonged to both of them equally. As Maya drifted off to sleep in her husband's arms, she thought about how grateful she was for rain, for late-night food deliveries, for the courage to say yes when a lonely millionaire invited her to stay for dinner. Because that single decision had led to everything else. To love, to family, to a life more beautiful than she'd ever imagined possible. And somewhere in the penthouse, in frames on the wall, were photos that told their story. The two of them on their wedding day, Alina as a newborn, Lucas's first smile. A family built on the foundation of one rainy night, and the love that grew from it. A reminder that sometimes the best things in life came from the most unexpected moments, from being brave enough to stay when it would have been easier to leave, from believing that love could be enough to overcome any obstacle. Their story was still being written, still unfolding with each new day. But Maya knew with absolute certainty that whatever came next, they would face it together. Because that's what they did. That's what they'd always do, and it all started with a simple food delivery to a penthouse and a millionaire lonely enough, brave enough to ask her to stay.